We're live again. It's King Rich's, another live stream. Big up to everybody that watches my videos. Big up to each and every one of you. I'm gonna talk about something that is probably gonna upset certain demographics, but I don't care because I know what I'm saying is true. Obviously you can see the thumbnail and the title. Body shaming is a lie, and I'm gonna tell you why body shaming is a lie, right? Because it is just hypocrisy from the back to the front, from the front to the back. And it only ever applies when it happens to women. Body shaming only ever applies when it happens to women. All right. Men get body shamed all the time, bro. And I don't want to hear about what it was like 50 years ago. I don't want to hear about what it was like 30 years ago. Let's talk about what it's like today. Because we know we live in a world where being an average man is not seen as good enough. You being a man with average looks and average height, or even having an average willy, is not seen as good enough for the vast majority of women. I'd say for 80% of women walking around. Now, we know the vast majority of women are average looking at best, but they believe that they are better than the majority of men walking around for different reasons. Number one reason, though, would be looks, because looks matter, right? And whoever tells you looks don't matter is lying to you. A lot of women like to act like, oh, I don't care about a man's looks. I just care about if he's a nice guy and if he's kind and if he's this, if he's that. That's all a lie. That's all smoke and mirrors. It's not real. Yeah. Everybody judges everybody based on looks. I would say 99% of people are superficial and shallow, right? Even people that you may see and think, right, they're not very attractive. Yes, them people are shallow as well, right? And in recent years, this whole term of body shaming has obviously got a lot of popularity, but it's mainly amongst women. Women who, they believe that they should be worshipped regardless of what they do or how they look. They believe that they are tens. They believe that they are models. And it's funny because a lot of these people, they're quite arrogant. They're quite arrogant. I mean, you don't need to go that far to see examples of this, where you see women who are obviously average at best. They're very, very arrogant, man. They're very arrogant, and they're quick to tell a man about himself. They're quick to let a man know that he is inadequate in various different ways. Let's talk about the number one thing that men get body shamed for, which is seen as mainstream and is seen as okay. Heightism. Heightism. All right. Now, we all know that most men, if we had our own way, we would all be like 6'5". Let's be real. Most men would want to be 6'5" or 6'3" at least, because we know that the majority of women have this uncanny obsession with getting with a guy who's exceptionally taller. Not just taller, but exceptionally taller, like a foot taller, or even more than that. And yeah, like, I just think that this whole idea of heightism is very ridiculous. You don't need to go far to see examples of this. In fact, on Instagram, there is a page that is dedicated to showcasing women who have an extreme desire to be with men who are extremely tall. Being an average height guy is seen to be undesirable. And in this day and age, in the age of technology, in the age of information and knowledge, and really in an age where we get to see the truth about things, a man being extremely tall really means little to nothing. It means little to nothing in this day and age. But nevertheless, you hear a lot of women exclaim that, my preference is tall men. I'm really into tall men. And the funny thing is, it'll be the shortest women that like to talk about this and bang on about getting with a guy who's extremely tall. I want a guy that's 6'5", 6'6". I find it quite bizarre, to be honest. I find it quite bizarre. And then their classic excuse will be, because I want to feel protected. I want to be with a tall man because he will protect me. If I'm with a shorter guy, he can't protect me. When really and truly, it's been documented through history that the best fighters, or AKA the best physical protectors, are usually guys that are average height to even shorter. But, all logic gets thrown out the window. Logic is not a part of this conversation. They want a tall guy and that's what they want. And it's all good. Like, people are allowed to have their preference, right? But really and truly, when an average height guy, or even a shorter than average height guy gets met with rejection, and not only just meets rejection, but he is made to feel inadequate because he is not a giant, that should be body shaming. In essence, heightism is body shaming, bro. It is body shaming, because height is something that you cannot control. Like, height is something you can't control. It's just determined by your genetics. It's determined by the DNA of your mother and your father. That's what it depends on. That's all. So making men feel bad about themselves and making men feel rejected because they're only 5'9", 5'8", 5'7", it should be classed as body shaming. It should be. Because I mean, if you make a comment about a woman's weight, her size, her build, that will be quickly met with the term body shaming. Quickly. And I just think that it's just straight up hypocrisy, to be honest. I think that it's complete hypocrisy. Another example of how body shaming is a lie, and it's only there to make women feel good about themselves, and it completely neglects the opinion of men, right? Men who are overweight. Men who are overweight get body shamed consistently. Men who are overweight get joked on. It is comedy. It is made comedy. They get ridiculed. They get ridiculed by other men, and they get ridiculed by women. You see, the thing about this whole dynamic is that we have been conditioned to believe that women are automatically nice people. Women don't ever poke fun at people. They're never mean, and that's just a lie. That's just a lie. Women can be very brutal when they are disqualifying men. Very brutal. And if you as a man are overweight and you try to attract certain types of women, they will let you know that you are too big. You're too overweight. They only want to date guys that are in shape. And again, listen, I ain't got no problem with anyone having their preference. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But let's call a spade a spade. If a man is overweight, people will joke on him. Everyone will laugh at him. They make TV shows where they laugh at fat guys. There's cartoons, mainstream cartoons, where again they're laughing at overweight men, fat guys. But now, if it's time to poke fun at women who are overweight, oh, now that's fat shaming. You better be careful what you say. That's body shaming. You better be careful what you say. And that is straight up hypocrisy. There's no other way you can slice it and dice it. There's no other way you can really reason that. Like, it's okay to make men feel crap about themselves. And I honestly think that this is an agenda to really destroy the ego of the man in this society. I think it's an agenda to effeminize men, make men weak, make men feel like subordinates. Women are given free reign to say whatever heinous, mean insults they want. But if a man plainly, clearly points out something that is just a straight up fact, he has to be very careful. He has to tread on thin ice. He has to be very careful what he says. I have to be careful what I say on this live stream because of this term, body shaming. This guy's just talking about whatever he wants to talk about, so I have to get rid of you. Yeah, big up Daniel. It says, i.e., Homer Simpson and Peter Griffin. Yeah. Like mainstream characters who are consistently clowned for being overweight. But if a woman is clowned for being overweight, now that's body shaming. I mean, I can't be the only person that's noticed this hypocrisy. I can't be the only one. Someone said, what is the point of making men weak? Very good question, Tori. The mission to make men weak, it basically leads to the population being easier to control. Hear me out right now, right? Because if the majority of men are masculine, strong, mentally strong, physically strong and mentally strong, right? And assertive and confident, right? They are going to be hard to control because they are going to be thinking independently. They're not going to be easily influenced. They're not going to be easily pushed around. But if the greater population of men are weak, then that populace is easy to control and manipulate and push around. That is why, fam. They don't want men to be strong. They don't want men to be assertive. They don't want men to be leaders. They want men to be just jokes. They want men to be subservient to women and idol worshipping women, and these people that control this strategy, they know that women are easier to influence and control on the grand scheme of things, easier than men. So that's why they like to pedestalize women and make women seem like they are so much smarter than men and they're stronger than men and they're independent of men and they don't need a man. They could do it all by themselves. And it's all a trick. It's all a trick. This whole body shaming thing is just one little tentacle of the whole virus, you know. And this is a real thing. Like this whole body shaming, you know, it only literally is there for women as like a cope, or you know, a way of shutting men down or shutting men up, you know. And I just find it to be very, very hypocritical, to be honest. You know, another example of how men get attacked by this whole body shaming thing. What about when women come out and they talk about men's willies? Listen, listen, this is a real thing, man. Like, men can be ridiculed for their manhood. You know, you hear a lot of women, they'll come out and say, they don't want a guy with X amount of inches. If he's below this, then you know they don't want him, and blah blah blah. And at the end of the day, like it's still body shaming, bro. Because at the end of the day, as a man, again, you didn't choose what you were working with. You didn't choose. I think that again, most men, if they had the option, they would have chose to have a lot of inches. So when it's made okay for women to make fun of men for being average size to below average, I think that's actually quite disturbing when you think about it. Because again, the majority of people are going to be average. That's why average exists. So if women are coming out and saying average is not good enough and blah blah blah, they want some King Kong Godzilla Willy, and if you don't have that, then you can't do nothing, blah blah blah, then you're really gonna be making the majority of men feel inadequate once again. Like it's just it's just I find it so amazing how this point of how body shaming is so one-sided. I find it so amazing that people don't ever talk about this. People never talk about this. I'm like, am I the only one that thinks about these things on these kind of levels? Am I the only person that thinks about these dynamics? Like, men get harshly, brutally judged on things that are outside of our control, bro. Let me say this again. Men get harshly, brutally, savagely judged on physical attributes that are out of our control. And for some reason, it's not seen as body shaming. For some reason, these comments, these jokes, these digs are mainstream TV, mainstream daytime TV. Yeah. But like, you know, in this society, if you critique a woman based on truth, you're a bad person. You're a bad guy. You're an evil guy. You're an evil guy. Do you know what I find so funny whenever I do pop the balloon or find love reaction videos? And you know, I noticed a long time ago that every single guy that comes on there, he always has to make a point to say, "Oh, all you women are beautiful. You're all beautiful." Am I the only one that's noticed that? Press one in the chat if you noticed that as well. They always have to make a point to say, all you women are beautiful. You're all beautiful. When you know that's a lie. Everybody can't be beautiful at the same time, because then nobody's beautiful. Do you get what I'm saying? If everybody's a 10, then 10 doesn't even exist anymore, because that's the average. Yeah, but it's like these days you just can't keep it real. When you're talking to a lot of these women, you just can't keep it real. You're not allowed to keep it real with them. It's like they're adults, but they're adults that are too sensitive to hear the truth. Like they have the intelligence, they, you know, they're independent and they don't need a man for validation and blah blah blah. But if you tell them some truth, yeah, you're being too evil right now. You're being evil. You're body shaming. Just think it's crazy, fam. To be honest with you, I think it's crazy hypocrisy going on out here, and boy, I just find it to be very funny, like body shaming, bro. Now I'm a guy that I'm quite blessed. I would say God blessed me. Um I am a little bit over 6 foot in height. But obviously I'm not like 6'5". I'm not 6'4", 6'3". I'm not those heights where these women like start getting starry eyed, you know, but you know, I am pretty much taller than most people walking around. Um and I've got quite a good physique, you know, but that's only through hard work and dedication and consistency. You know, I'm playing sports my whole life, right? Um I personally haven't really faced body shaming, you know, not really that much. I mean, there's been one or two times in my life where I've come across a woman who's said that I'm too short. Like they would rather date a guy that's taller, which again, in my mind, that's just like weird. Like, and at times that's made me have a complex about height, you know. I ain't even gonna front, I ain't even gonna lie. That's made me think about height. Like I never used to think about height before. But it wasn't until like really I went to America. That's when I was like, wow, like this height thing is serious. Because once I got over there, like, and plus because I was playing sports in college, I was around a lot of tall guys. Because like typically in America, the guys that play sports are usually on the taller side, you know. So I was around guys 6'3" all the time. I was around guys 6'5". Like one of my best friends, he was 6'5". You know, so I was around that, and then you know the women, and I really believe that heightism is very very strong in America. Out of all places on the planet, like it is most prevalent in the States. Um, you know, I had a couple girls over there, it like allude to me being short and not being tall enough, and that just threw my mind. Do you get what I'm saying? I was like, what? And I've said this many times on the channel. There was one time I liked this black chick, very cute black chick, and she was short. She had to have been like 5'2", 5'3", something like that. Um, and I remember I tried to, you know, uh, talk to her on a romantic level, and I remember she said something about, yeah, you're cool, but you're not tall enough. Like I usually like dating basketball players. Now, bearing in mind, this girl was like 5'2", 5'3". I'm over 6 foot. That's a considerable height difference, bro. And I've never forgotten when she said that, because that was just like, what? Like, what is going on here, bro? Like, and the crazy thing about it is that like I don't even usually typically go for girls that are like in that 5'2", 5'3" range. I usually date girls that are like 5'8", 5'8", 5'9". And obviously, as a lot of you know, I dated a girl that was considerably taller than that. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, like it can take its toll, and so I can easily see the point of view of men who are on the shorter side. You know, guys that would probably look at me and be like, "Oh, I wish I was your height." Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, I fully understand where they're coming from. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Because you know, again, society is always ready. to make men feel bad about themselves, even if it is about something that is out of their control, which is literally genetics. It's literally the roll of the dice. And, whatever you're born with is whatever you're born with. You can't do much about it. I mean, there is the whole height length, like leg lengthening surgery, with something that's very dangerous, something that could make you lose your ability to walk. I don't think that you'll be able to use your legs the same ever again. Um, and it's extraordinarily expensive, right? And I even did a reaction video to a guy going and doing that surgery. And really and truly, the only reason I could see men wanting to go and do leg lengthening surgery is to maybe date women that they couldn't date before. Let's keep it real. Like, the only reason a man is gonna go and do leg lengthening surgery or height surgery is so that he can date women that previously thought he was too short. And why is a man gonna feel like that? Because he's probably been body shamed, bro. Yeah. See how it comes back round full circle. He's probably been body shamed about his height. He's probably got a complex about his height. He's probably been made to feel inadequate. He's probably been disqualified by many women. And I just think that, yes, everybody's allowed to have their preference. Of course, women are allowed to have their preference. Yeah, nothing is by force. But come on, if you're gonna diss men based on height, then men should be able to make comments about you based on your build. Simple as that. And for the most part, most people, their build is determined by their lifestyle. This is something that is in your control. Now, if you've decided to just let yourself go and eat crazy and live a sedentary lifestyle and just not give a crap, then I don't see why anybody has to show you much sympathy, because you chose that life. You chose this. It's different to a guy who was born and his genetics have determined him to be 5'2". That's different. There's no amount of going to the gym that's gonna change him into a 6'3" guy. There's no gym workout that's gonna do that. You know? It is what it is. But yeah, so I can kind of see where a lot of guys are coming from when they make their complaints about how women treat them and what the things that women have said to them, and the ways women have made them feel bad about themselves. And I think that is very, very shocking that it's allowed on public platforms, mainstream pop platforms. It's okay. Like, these women are never gonna get banned. They're never gonna get their jobs taken away from them for saying crazy things. No, it's okay. It's fine, because what how men feel is irrelevant in this society. The way men feel is just irrelevant. And it's no coincidence that a lot of men suffer mental health. It's no coincidence that a lot of men delete themselves at an alarming rate. It's all by design, bro. It's not a coincidence why so many guys are weak little simps running after women kissing backside. Like, it's no coincidence, bro. It's all by design, bro. All by design. everybody watching, please like the video. Don't forget to do that. If you haven't liked the video yet, please like it right now. The average man, based on his physical attributes, is made to feel like he is not worthy to be with the average woman, especially in the Western world, i.e., specifically or primarily America. And the thing about America is it has a very strong influence on the rest of the world. It has a very strong media presence globally. And so when enough American women come out in hordes saying things like, I only want to date a man that's 6'4" plus, and I only want a man who has a 15-inch willy, or I only want a man who is looking like a Greek Greek mythology character. I mean, now that message is going to be spread through the internet to other easily influenced women who are ready to have a hive mind, and they are going to start believing that's what they want as well. Now, I do reaction videos to a guy named King68 the Great. Press one in the chat if you've seen my King68 the Great videos, right? Now, I do those reaction videos because I find it quite hilarious. A lot of people have said, oh, well, those videos are fake. You know, women come up to him and approach him and they just act all thirsty for him and it's all fake. But the reality is that I can pretty much estimate that that is probably what happens to him in real life. Maybe not to the same magnitude that it looks like in the videos, but I'm sure that in real life he has women coming up to him on a regular basis, especially in certain, environments like the club or, bars or in busy nightlife environments, because the guy sticks out. He sticks out. He's a very extremely tall guy. A lot of people would say that he's objectively attractive. He's got a certain, athletic build. He wears a lot of jewelry, so that's going to obviously attract attention as well. So boom, like that's it. That's it, fam. Now, if he was the same exact guy, but he was 5'7", would he get the same kind of attention? Probably not. He would probably be doing videos where he's going to approach women. And when he does approach women, there's going to be a percentage of them that will body shame him because they will tell him to his face that you're too short. You're disqualified because you're too short. Like, it's just real, bro. Like, it's real. This body shaming thing is just an absolute lie, bro. It's just a lie. It's a lie. It's escape. It's an escape for women so that they don't have to hear criticism, really. But those same women will throw out criticism of men. This is absolute hypocrisy and BS. To be straight up with you and frank. Be straight up and frank. Again, you don't need to go far to hear, the straight up body shaming that women love to deliver men. And a lot of women, they take a lot of pleasure breaking down men. They actually find that to be entertaining, to tell men that they're too short, they're not attractive enough, etc., etc. A lot of women take pleasure in rejecting men. I've said this many times. A lot of times they see it as sport. They see it as It's a joke thing. It's a joke thing. Imagine you getting told that you're just not good enough, and like you get told that so many times, bro. That's gonna take its toll on you, bro. Regardless if you're a man or a woman, but you keep getting critiqued on something that is out of your control, something you cannot really make any changes by it, but you keep getting ridiculed and rejected and disqualified based on that. That's gonna take its toll on you mentally, bro. I swear, some of you people come in here and you just start talking your own stuff. Like, I think you need to start your own YouTube channel. I mean, it's funny, you can't even ask a woman her age. That seemed to be some kind of big time insult. You can't even ask a woman what her age is. Yeah, you can't ask a woman how much she weighs. Well, a woman can tell you you're too short. A woman can tell you, oh, I don't know, you're too big, or you're too skinny. It's body shaming, ain't it? No problems there though. No problems there. It's a trick. It's an absolute trick, bro. But it is what it is. This is the society we live in right now, man. This is the society, bro. Let me see what you lot been saying in the chat anyway. They just want to make men weak. That's what it boils down to, man. They want to make men weak. They want to make men feel, self-conscious, and give men anxiety and stuff like that. I remember there was, yeah, so I was gonna say, like, I remember seeing this video on TikTok, or this, like, it was a collection of videos on TikTok on a certain page, and it was just like, oh, the sound bite would always say, oh, sorry, I'm only into tall guys, and it will be a girl, and then she'll be with some really taller guy, like, and she'll be like, oh, I'm only into tall guys, like, and I was just like, what is the point of this video? Press one in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Press one in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. There was a series of videos where the sound would say, sorry, I'm only into tall guys, and then the camera would pan up or pan down, and you'd see that she's with some mad tall guy. And I'm like, what is the point of this but to make men, like, shorter men, feel bad about themselves? What is the point? Like, and you can tell that the girl is not like she's not on the tall side. You could tell that she's a short girl, but she has to be with some NBA player guy. Like, it's a joke. But men have to just tell women, oh, you lot are all beautiful, you're all beautiful. But I don't do that. I'm sorry, I'm not in that club. I'm not gonna tell everybody they're beautiful just because. Nah, bruh. Nah, bro. That's lame. That is lame, fam. Yeah, you're all beautiful women. Every single one of you. You're all stunners. So if they're all stunners, then no one's a stunner. Makes no sense. But you'll hardly ever see on Pop the Balloon a woman say that all you men are handsome. That don't never happen. But oh my god. Press one in the chat. Press one in the chat if you know what I'm saying is correct. You've hardly ever heard a woman go on a Pop the Balloon channel and say, oh, all you men are looking great, all you men are handsome. Or you know when they'll pop a guy's balloon, and then they'll say, "Well, why did you pop the why did you pop the guy's balloon?" Then they'll say their reason. Then they'll be like, "Oh, but you're a really handsome guy. I'm sure you're gonna find a nice girl." They never say that, bro. They seldom. They have one or two times here and there, but that's not the norm, though. That's not the norm. The norm is a woman will just reject you and make you feel bad about yourself and not give a crap. She won't care. She won't care. She ain't looking back. She's saying what she said, and that's it. And hopefully it's funny and it'll go viral. That's what it is. They don't have no remorse for men. Society don't have no remorse for men. Everything's based on the woman's feelings and how women feel about everything, bro. But what do you feel as a man is irrelevant? Like I just find it to be quite disturbing. You know what I mean? I find it quite disturbing. And that's another thing. Big up to Wordsmith. All the women are all wearing high heels. So they're all Jesus Christ. So like all these women that will be talking about men's height and saying, "Oh, you're not tall enough, you're not tall enough." All these women are frauds anyway because they're wearing high heels. These women are wearing like 4-inch heels. 4 inches heels. And they'll look at a guy and be like, "Oh, he's too short," when really in reality he's actually taller than them. And they'll say, "Oh yeah, but I want a guy that's taller than me wearing what because I wear heels." Do you live your whole life wearing heels? That's absolutely ridiculous. Whoever created high heels is just an idiot. Whoever like thought of the invention of high heels needs to go to jail, bro. Because if there was no high heels, there would be a lot more reality going on. Yeah, a lot more, or a lot less heightism would be going on. You know what I'm saying? Another aspect that I talked about briefly was the whole, "Oh, a guy has to have a huge willy," and all of this nonsense, bro. Which again is something out of a man's control. If a man was born with a micro willy, I'm sure he didn't choose that. He didn't choose that for himself. But now, when these kind of guys they go on the internet and they see all these women talk about, "Oh yeah, I need a guy that's got 11 inches and blah blah blah, and if he hasn't got this, then he's trash and blah blah blah." I'm sure them guys feel very very bad about themselves, bro. Something to think about. But you talk about a woman's weight or her build. Oh, you need to get cancelled, even though it's something that's within her control. It's so weird, bro. It's so weird. Do you know what I always think when I hear women go on and on about a guy has to have a huge willy? The only thing I think is that she's probably thrown box around. That's the only thing I get out of that. I just think she's probably seen a lot of willies, so that's why she needs this uh Justice League Willy, bro. She needs this Avengers Willy. Yeah. She needs this Galactus Willy, bro. Because she's seen so many, bro. And I always think that. I always think that, like, it's like whenever they're trying to body shame men about willies and that, I just think you're just exposing yourself. You're exposing the fact that you've seen a lot of willy, you've seen miles of willy, right? All different shapes and sizes and techniques. And now you need a Galactus Willy, bro. That's all that can satisfy her. She needs more wood for the fire, bro. Okay? And another thing is, a lot of times those type of women that go on and on about they need a guy with a big willy. I think that most of the time those women are they're gonna be promiscuous anyway. They're not gonna be happy with one guy. You get what I'm saying? So that's another thing I think about those ones. But again, I would say most guys connect their masculinity to their manhood. So when men are getting attacked because they don't have Galactus willies, I don't think that's good for the psyche of a lot of men walking around. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's just what I think. Body shaming, body shaming, body shaming. Oh, I nearly forgot. When women love to laugh at men about hairlines, bro. Oh my god. Hairlines, hairlines, hairlines. If you've got a bad hairline, women don't want to date you. They ain't gonna give you a chance. They're gonna let you know your hairline is trash. You got receding hairline. Now I'll be real. Even me personally, I feel like I've got a big forehead. I've had girls tell me, "Oh, you ain't got a big forehead." I feel like I do. Like I will rock no hat or no thing on my head, but I feel more comfortable having something on my head. Do you get what I'm saying? Why do I have that? Because we all know that if you don't have this perfect chiseled hairline, that's low. If you don't have a hairline that's 2 inches above your eyebrows, like you're losing your hairline. And now men. It's not just women will diss you. You are like men will diss you as well. Like everyone will diss you and body shame you for that. Again, it's something out of your control. It's your genetics. And once again, like some people are blessed to have a perfect hairline. Some people they're just predisposed to go bald early, bro. Some guys go bald early, bro. Like from like 19, 20, they're already losing hair. Their hair's thinning. How do you think them guys feel? And these women will come on the internet and they'll be laughing and joking. And again, this is mainstream TV media. Like this isn't like, oh, some after 9 o'clock they're laughing at guys. No, this is 9 o'clock in the morning. They're making these jokes, dissing men, body shaming men. How do you think guys feel? But nobody cares. Society does not care about how men feel about anything. Everything is about how women feel, and you as a man, how you feel doesn't mean crap. It doesn't mean anything, bro. Like second class citizens, even though we make the world go round, really. Like, because if men was to just be like, you know what, no man is actually going to do any work today. If there was one day where all men on the planet said, we're not doing anything, the world would literally collapse, bro. Everything would collapse. It would just stop. We'd be in the dark ages. We'd literally go back to caveman days in one day if men were all to stop. But do men get respect in society? No. Not in the West, anyway. Not in the Western world. Not in the Western world, bro. Someone said, you guys sounding like incels. I can't relate to this. I can't lie. Laughing, crying faces. I don't know. I don't know who's. I hope you're not referring to me because, like, regardless of the realities I speak about, which I know are true, I do very well in real life. And everybody knows that. So this is what I'm saying. Men get ridiculed by other men. This is why men are so like in such a bad position in society these days. This is why men are like so weak these days because men can't even support other men. They can't. Men do not want to support other men. They want to make jokes. Oh, I can't relate. Ha ha ha. Crying face. That's lame. You're lame for that, bro. Like, you're lame. Fix up. Because guess what? Women back each other. Women always back each other. Always. They're never gonna be on your side against other women. They don't do that, bro. It's only men that will go against other men in hopes that they can get box, in hopes to make some random strangers like them. And it never works. Being a simp never works. It never works in your favor. Never. It never works, bro. You see me, I'm somebody that I've said a lot of things online that a lot of women don't like. And guess what? A lot of those women still want to date me. A lot of these women, they still sleep with me. They still want to date me. They still are, they might still not like the things I say, but at least I am a man and I say what I want to say. And I'm not going to be a simp just so that, oh, I might be able to get some extra box. No, it's not happening, fam. And of course, I'm going to support guys because I live the same struggle that guys live. Like, so, like, bro, don't do that. Bro. Don't do that. Don't do that, bro. It's real like that. And again, at the end of the day, it's all body shaming, bro. It's all body shaming. Someone said we should support anyone regardless of gender if they are right. That, bro, we all know that women will support each other even if what they're saying is totally illogical and ridiculous. So I mean, with the name Mimi, I'm sure you're a woman, you're a female saying that. We know that women don't operate like that. You're basically saying it to men. Oh, men, you need to support everybody. When really truly, women don't just support everybody. No. So I agree with you. Everyone should support what is the truth and what is the real, but men tend to operate with logic, which is real, and women tend to be more inclined to operate with emotion, which can be up to interpretation, really. So it's not necessarily as accurate as logic. So I would rather be inclined to support logic over emotion. So that's what I say to that. And this one's saying, show us your hat. I'm not showing you nothing. You see? The body shaming. Like, you think you're crafty. You're not crafty, fam. Like, trying to just derail the conversation. Maybe says, I'm a woman and I'll shut down other women. Well, I mean, remains to be seen. I wasn't there. No one here is there. So I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe you have done it. Good for you and good for supporting the truth. But you know that majority of modern women in particular will just blindly back other women regardless of how illogical their stance is. You know that. I know that. Everybody watching knows that. All right. So let's keep it real. Let's keep it real now. King Richards, they want to know about the heat regulation too. Bruv, new lineage, you're chatting absolute rubbish, bruv. But if you want to see what I look like without a hat, just go through my catalogue of videos. There's loads of videos with me without a hat on where you can see my hairline. So, I mean, like, bruh. So anyway, yeah. Like, I just think that Like this whole body shaming thing is literally, it's just literally something that was created for women exclusively, and yeah, it doesn't really work for men. It's not, men don't usually come out and say, oh, you're body shaming me. I've never ever come across an instance of a man saying, oh, I'm being body shamed. I've never come across it. Never. Like, even though it happens consistently on a regular basis. Andy says, I know he's not talking about all women, but majority are what he speaks about. Thank you. That's somebody that's being like logical right now. That's a woman saying that, and she's being logical. Yeah, like it's not all, it's never all women. It's never all women. Whatever I've said on in any of my videos, it's never all women, but we know that there's a substantial amount that do. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, body shaming is only a female concept. Yeah, basically. Basically. You know what I'm saying? So it's just straight up hypocrisy, really. Straight up hypocrisy. And I just think it's unfair. I just don't think it's fair. I don't think that men should be at the risk of being cancelled for, you know, calling a spade a spade. Do you know what I mean? Or sharing their preferences. I think that is absolutely ridiculous that men are in danger when they share their preferences or they make honest critiques. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even talking about men being horrible and ridiculing any woman. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about if a man makes an honest observation of something he sees in a woman, he is potentially at risk of being cancelled for saying something that's a bit too real, and you know, the people that hear it being a bit too sensitive. But those same sensitive people, they will say mean things to men and laugh. They don't give it a second thought. Another aspect that I nearly forgot to add is that when men have inadequacies, right, such as hairline or for me, my teeth. My teeth was my biggest insecurity. I don't really care about my hairline like that because, you know, as I said, like it's more of like a I do think I have a big forehead, but I've always had a big forehead from when I was a little kid, right? But like my teeth were my biggest inadequacy, yeah, or insecurity rather, right? And obviously, as you can see now, I have perfect teeth, right? I spent a lot of money on my teeth. I got the best teeth treatment that you can buy currently at this date in time. Um, and I was ridiculed for getting my teeth fit done. I got ridiculed for that. See this is the issue. Like, even as a man, if you decide to go and improve your situation by getting your teeth done or getting a hair transplant or maybe the extreme of lengthening surgery or something like that, you still get ridiculed, bro. You still get body shamed. It's so wild, bro. It's so what? Think about it, bro. Everybody watching, press one in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Press one in the chat right now. If you are a man, you will be ridiculed with whatever is a disadvantage you have physically. You'll get disqualified and rejected by women for that thing. And guys are gonna laugh at you and ridicule you about that thing as well. Then when you go and take life into your own hands and you go and self-improve and you go and pay for some kind of treatment that will fix the issue, then you'll get laughed at and ridiculed for it for going to fix the issue. It's actually insane, bro. Big up to Bobby P for the super chat. Um, he says, simp has become an overused term. A guy that kisses women's backsides cause that's the only way to get attention is a simp. A man with old-fashioned values embracing chivalry isn't a simp. Social media distorts much. Yeah, at the end of the day, I do get what you're saying, but the fact of the matter is like you being an old-fashioned man with traditional values is not a bad thing. But if you're doing it for modern people, you're doing it in order to court modern women, there's a problem there, bro, because you're not treating people accordingly. Like you can't be a traditional man for a modern woman because she's a modern woman. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute, bro. Like, and if you are a traditional man and you're doing everything traditional for a modern woman, you're probably going to be simping. Yeah, you're probably going to be simping because she's not going to appreciate it like a traditional woman would because she's not traditional, fam. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's like I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be a traditional man with old-fashioned values, but we don't live in that time anymore. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like sometimes when you talk to older men about the dating landscape and dating dynamics and stuff like that, and because they're so out of touch, and maybe they've just been with their wife for like 40 years, 50 years, they have no idea of what it's like dating the typical woman now, and the advice that they're going to give you is outdated because they're from a different era. When they was young dating, the women were different to how the women are now. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that you're necessarily wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I think simp, some people get the word simp confused or distorted, but I think that there's a huge epidemic of simps walking this earth right now. I don't think that's the natural order. I think that there's a lot of men who just literally worship women, and they'll put themselves in bad situations, or they'll take a lot of crap just because they want to appease women. And I think that's the wrong way to go. I don't even think women really want men to act like that. Hence why a lot of times women, they will be with bad boys. They will be with guys that treat them poorly. It's a very weird dynamic, but this is very consistent. But big up to Bob for the super chat. I appreciate you, fam. Now we've got someone in the chat which I'm assuming is a woman, and this person says, "Well, it sounds like you want women to worship you." At the end of the day, like, I look at it like this because I'm somebody that I have belief in God. Yeah, I believe in God. I believe in what it says in the Bible, right? As that is the way it's meant to actually be. And I think a man, he should love his woman. Yeah, he should take care of her and love her. And I think the woman should be his helpmate. I think that her attention and focus should be on the man and trying to make his life as easy as possible. Do you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, the man is going to be taking care of her and loving her. And in essence, if she's doing all she can to try and make his life easy, she'll love him. But if you look at current society and you look at what a lot of women say they want and the dating requirements, etc., a lot of it just sounds like they just want worship. And I find it funny that people like you would say something like, "Oh, it sounds like you want worship," because you don't care about a man's point of view. You don't care. Like, you're not interested. All you know is what you want. All you think about is what you want. And really and truly, men break their backs every day to try and attract women and keep and maintain women and keep a woman happy. The majority of men are not Chads and Tyrones that can just sleep around with loads of different random women. The majority of men cannot do that. The majority of men just want a girlfriend. The majority of men just want to settle down with a woman that's going to respect them. So all this stuff is just typical shaming lines, typical shaming lines, because you want worship as well. It's very self-centered. I never said anything about a man needing to be worshipped. The only person you're meant to worship is the Most High God. I don't believe in idol worship. I don't believe a man or woman should be idol worshiping any other person. You're meant to worship the Most High. Simple. So that's the end of everything you've got to say. Big up Bobby P for another super chat. He says, true gentlemen recognize true ladies. Chivalry is only for those that value it, not wholesale for everyone. Absolutely, I agree with that. Yeah, that's it. Look, listen to this. What this woman said. No, I'm not making anyone's life easier. I'm not a toy to make someone feel better. Then no one should ever couple with you, because you sound like a very just nasty person. To be honest with you, you don't sound like somebody that any guy should ever couple up with, because you don't want to make the guy's life easier. You listen to your mindset is, I'm not a toy. Why would it be a fact that you trying to make your guy's life easier? Why does that equate to you being a toy? I just told you, in my belief, the woman should be a help mate to her man. But in your twisted mind, in your twisted emotional logic, you see it as being a toy. That's your problem. And that's why you're probably single. I could put money on it that you're single. I can put money on it, bro. I'm 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 not being nagging or anger, but I'm not here to soothe or fix his problems, bro. You're meant to be a helpmate, bro. And then surprise, surprise, I'm happily single and I actually date women. Well, good luck to you. Because even if you date women, they're probably going to have the same mindset as you, and they're not going to want to make your life better either. Yeah? So simple as. They probably got the same mindset as you. Yeah? That's a joke. Hey, with that, I'm just going to end it there, man. Dude, that's so funny, bro. Anyway, you lot take care of yourselves. Make sure you like this video. Leave a like underneath this video. Let me know what you think. If you agree, you disagree, etc., etc. It's all good. Anyway, yeah, like the video, like the video, like the video. Leave comments. All right. I'll be back with some more live streaming, and all that good stuff, man. You lot take care of yourselves. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, so you don't miss any more of these live streams. And I'm out of here. Peace.